movies. The cinema is by far my favourite place in the world. Films have been my favourite thing since I was conscious enough to say movies. I would sit in front of the TV, popping in VHS tapes, and eventually DVDs for what seemed like most of my childhood, and would always be up to date with whatever movie was coming out before we had the internet, through either TV spots, newspaper ads, and trailers before movies. Speaking of which, going to the movies when I was younger, I was so excited I was practically vibrating in the car ride. I loved that just a short car trip away to an unsuspecting building near me for just a short time would be showing a worldwide cultural event. It blew my mind. My local cinema had a mural of old movies inside that led to some steps with a lobby that had the glitzy appeal of Hollywood. Deep blue with stars, you were surrounded by giant character posters of current and upcoming movies. It was a lot, but exciting. I loved picking up the free leaflets about the film showing and coming soon. You'd buy your tickets and enter the dark hallway of posters and screens. Older than I cared to admit, I would try to avoid looking at the horror movie posters. It was like going through a very narrow haunted house. Then you reach your screen, and I was almost bouncing up the ramp towards my seat. You'd find your seat and sink into the bucket-like shape and let it envelop you. Then, it was a ticking time bomb waiting for the ads to start with a jump scare. You'd settle into the loudest and enjoy the film. Small tangent, even though I love going to the cinema, I would always cover my ears when scenes got too loud or threatened to do a jump scare. I sometimes still have to fight that urge to cover my ears. Then after the movie, I'd gobble some fast food and make it home feeling amazing. It was so special. It was. Until about 10 years ago, when they decided to change everything. Gone was the glitzy stars and bright colours, instead just empty and sterile pitch black walls and floors. They took away the posters in the lobby, the arcade is now a boring waiting room, replacing the big posters with tiny screens on just one wall. No free leaflets. The hall is now well lit, screens now had recliners, which is nice I guess, but somehow they are less plush and comfy than older bucket seats. So now going to the cinema is just going into a bland room devoid of atmosphere, where I leave not on cloud 9, just indifferent and underwhelmed. It really is a shame that the magic feels gone. Except that is, for fan screenings. What is a fan screening? For the purpose of this video, a fan screening will mean a screening of a film with a large fan base either at the earliest screening or on the day it's released. And with the finale of The Amazing Digital Circus being shown soon in cinemas, I thought it'd be interesting to go over my experiences with fan screenings. My first experience with this was in 2012, when The Dark Knight Rises came out. I was there early for the first screening, so I knew everyone around me was as big a fan as me. It really enhanced the experience knowing I was surrounded by fans. And when it was over, I was so blown away I was shaking leaving the screen. I've been chasing that high ever since. The next time was when the first My Hero Academia movie was released in 2018. I went with my university friends, and everyone we met was clearly big fans. When Mineta showed up, people actually booed, and this moment brought the house down.
Shit!
This is not normal in UK cinemas. It's considered a faux pas to make any noise during the movie. We don't clap or scream. It was great, and I left the screen feeling like I'd had an unforgettable experience. Although when we left, the people walking in front of us was a girl who had something on her neck. It was a leash, held onto by who I assume was her boyfriend. Now, I don't want to kink shame, but I don't think you should be doing that in public. These are the kind of things that make fan screenings so memorable, for better or worse. I think the pinnacle of the fan screening is the midnight screening. The only movie I've done this with is Avengers Endgame back in 2019. I don't know how you guys felt when this movie came out. I wasn't necessarily excited, but it felt like more like I was going to a mandatory end-of-year meeting. It was like mandatory if you were a nerd back in 2019. I went with my friend, and when we got there, we saw a guy in a Mark III Iron Man suit in the lobby. I don't think he ended up even watching the movie, he was just taking pictures for his Instagram. When we actually watched the movie, everyone was very quiet, almost dead silence. Honestly, it was very similar to a normal screening. And when things got super hyped near the end, me and my friend were like moving around in our seats, but even that felt like too much compared to everyone around us. So it's not always guaranteed to be more involved here. Also, when I booked the tickets to see Endgame, it was the first and only time I was put on an online queue to buy tickets. I wonder if a movie will ever be that highly anticipated again. When I saw the double bill of Wicked last November, the audience actually clapped before and after the movie finished. And this took me by surprise, as I said, it's quite unheard of here. I'm sure this is normal in places like America. Here it felt very out of the ordinary. So yeah, fan screenings are probably the closest you can get to the magic of how the cinema used to be. I don't know how the Amazing Digital Circus finale is going to go, but fingers crossed it can get close to some of these interesting past fan screenings. I've honestly always wanted my own stories to get people as excited as they do at fan screenings. I've actually released my own story, a full illustrated novel called Let's Be Titans. I spent the past 4 years working on it and I'm very proud of it. Here's the synopsis. Catch that? Too fast. Sorry about that, here you go. Please check it out and let me know what you think about it by leaving a review, if you do end up reading it. I also want to know if you've had any interesting experiences at fan screenings. Let me know in the comments. I post these videos a day earlier on my Patreon. Please consider supporting so I can make more videos like this. Thanks for watching. Bye guys.
Enjoy the film.